Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our coding bootcamp for beginners. This is week 5. We are looking at finding files today, so we'll be looking sort of just at saving files and being able to retrieve data from within files, which we can then use to basically share data between programs running. I'll explain a bit more about what I mean in just a second. Yeah, so welcome. Oh, I knew I forgot something. It's hilarious how I I planned so many times what I needed to do, and I still forgot things. Give me just a second. I wanted to tell you a bit about skill camp rather, and about code camp and what it is that we do here. I'm just gonna make sure that's ready to run because a few seconds ago it wasn't, and hopefully now it is. uh, right, hopefully. Yeah, this looks like the one that's been done for us. This has all of the notes so that I know what it is that we are doing this week across all of our servers. But yeah, if you are just joining in, we are doing our coding bootcamp for beginners, which is a 6-week course. We are, like I say, on week 5, and lots of things happening across all of our skill camp servers. Right, there we go. Now I can open it up. Now it is ready to work for me. So yeah, I'm Joel Sprouse, and I will be your host for today. I've got lots of experience in coding, both in Python, which is what we're using to learn coding. It's a great language for beginners, for people who don't have any experience in coding. I also know websites, so I make lots of websites for various uses, including an online directory for like fitness instructors. I've made a portfolio for a bakery, and even some software for some DJs. So I do have quite a bit of experience in various fields. My computer has decided to have a strike, apparently. Come on, PowerPoint, you can load. I believe in you. Yeah, so Code Camp is. I'm going to do this without a PowerPoint because it's not loaded at the moment. Code Camp is part of Skill Camp, which is a non for profit organization that's just been founded basically. And we host a lot of classes and various things um, to basically help you achieve whatever goals you might have. Let's go back over to this one. And back to OBS. There we go. So yeah, we have lots of different skills that you can learn. So CodeCamp is for software development, and we take your a concept from an idea to design and development through to maybe even published software. And we can help you with that. We are just starting up, so we've got lots of events, free events and classes coming up, and some of those will be paid, and you can become a supporter member. I'll tell you about that in just a second. And we're part of Skill Camp, which is a non-for-profit organization helping you to achieve your life goals. You can see all of these servers. So we have servers ranging from screenwriting to novel writing to making films, animating, learning languages. So we've got a web bootcamp coming up soon on CodeCamp, a database one soon after. We're going to start doing team huddles, which are basically where people gather together to talk about a particular skill, and just, sort of think about, sort of review each other's designs or whatever it might be for that week. And the computer lab is coming up soon. Again, that'll be for our supporter members who want a bit more dedicated, support, dedicated specialized support. We have a lot of events happening this week, as you can, events happening this week, as you can see. So we have on Script Camp for screenwriters, feature bootcamp is currently ongoing, so that teaches you how to make a film. We have TV pilot bootcamp, script analysis bootcamp. Just after this session, we have the table reads, and you can see so many other workshops and groups. WordCamp has a lot of special classes coming up. So you've got Edit Your Manuscript Like a Pro, How to Outline a Novel. I'll tell you about those in a second. We've also got, and I'm just learning this now, we've got cinematography classes, directing classes, video editing classes, and how to sell your film. Those are all new, and I look forward to going to them. We have Creator Camp for content creators, where we have a home studio lighting workshop that we do. Toon Camp for animators, we have an animation lab and a character design bootcamp. Both of those, I believe, run by Beatrice. She's a brilliant artist, very talented, always showing off her art, and I think you get a bit jealous of her. Code Camp, obviously, I've just spoken about that. We have a number of rubber duck sessions which you are invited to. They are completely free. Basically, just look in the events tab at the top of the channel list in the server, and that will show you when the next session is. But basically, we just code together in a quiet space, and if you need any help, you just feel free to unmute and ask any questions, and we can just talk about it together. Maybe if you want to code more, but you need some help with sort of accountability, that's really what Rubber Ducks is for. And it's a 24/7 room, so you can be in there anytime. But the event is just so that you know that there will be at least one person in there. At least one person is dedicated to being in there. That's the idea of that. These are all of our free classes coming up for the next month or so. Best protagonist for your story on Script Camp, subpilots in your movie or TV show. Write a movie in 8 weeks, write a TV pilot in 6 weeks. And on WordCamp for novel writing, query letter masterclass, edit your manuscript like a pro, write a novel in 12 weeks, and how to outline a novel. All of these are free classes. Those times there are shown in PST, which, for example, is 8 hours behind GMT or UK time. So, and I think 3 hours behind EST. So, just to give you an idea of when those times are. And Connor, our founder, is offering all of those free classes. I highly recommend them. Again, some of the things that we offer. There are a number of ways that you can help Skill Camp, such as by donating. You can, maybe if you have a skill that you can teach, you can volunteer your time, contact Nacho, and he will, get you set up with that. And the third way is you can tell friends about it, and invite them to servers. And if you, let us know that you've done that, then you get a free month of Unlimited, which gives you access to a bunch of different classes. And you also get a free month of Arc Studio Pro, which is a screenwriting software. Which again I highly recommend and I absolutely love. So what are we achieving in this bootcamp? Again, this is a bootcamp for beginners. So if you already have a bit of experience in IT and programming, you may not learn so much here, although we hope you do. This is for people who've never programmed before. And programming is a lot of hard work, but I find it so fulfilling. So fulfilling is that word I'm looking for, but I love it. Basically, is what I'm saying. It can be frustrating, but I do love it. And I know that each and every one of you can become a brilliant programmer. This just teaches the basics of programming. So yeah, if you are new, this is for you. Here's our schedule. We are on week 5. So again, we're looking at file handling. Not so much finding and fixing bugs today. I think we might do that in the next sort of cohort. But yeah, this is about file handling, saving files, and that sort of thing. Like I was saying earlier, I am a self-taught web developer. Around a decade experience using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and I taught myself how to create databases, including online directories. So yeah, and I've learned Python about 5 years ago, so I've got all that experience. So do make use of me. Right, let us get started with the programming for today. If you all open up Python and we can get started. In case you need a reminder, you need to open up the Python shell. Make sure it's idle shell, and then you will have a window that looks something like this, hopefully. And then you will just click Control N or Command N to get a blank page, which hopefully will look like. Which hopefully will look like that. Not sure why the sizes have all gone out again. Also not sure why we've got 2 dots. Window capture. Okay, that's that. Okay. Right. So, we're going to do a couple of things today. I think our priority, or our main thing that we're learning today, will be about saving files, creating files, deleting files. Now, before we start, just to make sure that no files get deleted accidentally, when we save our program, we're going to save it in its own folder, and we're going to make a new folder for it, and make sure that is the only, only file in that, in that window, just to really reduce that risk of deleting any important files. So, yeah, make sure you save it in a separate file. Oh, hang on. There we go. So hopefully you have a blank document on in the left. And when you save it, you can click File Save if that's easier. And yeah, save it in its own folder. You can call it whatever you want, maybe Python, file handling, whatever makes sense to you. And it shouldn't matter too much what you call the document. Maybe just file. Yeah, because it doesn't matter too much. Right, so maybe I should explain why we're doing this, why we're learning how to manage files. In a lot of software, what you will find is, if you're using Word, for example, you will have the ability to save a document as a file, and be able to open it up later. Excuse me. And so that's sort of what you can do in Python. So you can save documents for later use. So maybe if I don't know why you can't see the whole of that screen. Actually, undo. So maybe if you have, you can just save files for later use for whatever you need, basically. I'll talk you through that. I have lost my page. Give me a second. What we're going to do is we're just going to create a text file to start off with, just to show you, what's sort of happening. Hopefully, if you go into File Explorer or Finder or Windows Explorer, whatever it's called for you, and open up the folder where you saved the Python file just now, you should hopefully see that is the only file in that folder. And using Python, we're going to create a file. I'm just trying to open it up now. Python file handling. So for me, for example, I've just got a folder called Python file handling and a file called file.py, py for Python. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a bit of script that will check if a file with the file name already exists. And the way we do that is we have to import two modules in particular. Well, actually at this stage, just one. Now remember, modules are basically just add functionality to our project. So, and we import modules by saying import and then the name of a module. In this case, we're importing the OS module. Now that means that we can check the operating system of the computer basically for files or different aspects of your computer. Now we're going to check if a file exists, and we're going to do that by we're going to save a variable as CWD. Now CWD, it doesn't, again, variables don't generally matter what you call them. CWD stands for current working directory, and we're going to call it os.getCWD, like that. Now, this is a function which comes from the OS module, and this is just going to get the path of the file, basically where this file is saved. We're then going to have a plus and a string at the end. So our string is basically what our file will be called, so what we're looking for, because the current working directory is just getting a folder. It's not getting the name of the file. So in my case, this will check the documents folder or the Python file handling folder inside of the documents. In my case, we're going to add this bit, which is going to look inside of the file or folder depending on what I ask it to do. So plus and inside of a string, we're going to type a /, and then we're going to type the name of the file. So in this case, we're just going to call it test.txt. TXT is a file extension for just a plain text file. So there's no formatting, just pure letters, numbers, and symbols. By the way, if anyone is feeling a bit confused about anything, do feel free to let me know, and I can always go back and just give some help where needed. But yeah, so we're importing this module, and so that's the current working directory of a file that we're going to look for. That's only a variable at the moment, and what we want to do is check that the variable exists. So what we're going to do is use an if statement. Again, we're going to use the OS module. If os.path .exists, that's not how you spell exists. I mean, I believe it is, sorry, not that, CWD. So we're checking if the path exists, so if a file exists, because this is a file. Don't forget the colon, and hopefully that's indented to show that it's part of the if block. And then we just go say print file exists, just so that we know it's working. Exists. Keep spelling it on. Else, so if it doesn't exist, colon, then we are going to create the file, and we're going to do that by doing f equals open excuse me, os.getcwd, and we're going to do the same as what we did up here, plus slash test dot txt. After this bit, we're going to put a comma, and we're going to put w. Now, when you open a file using Python, there are three methods, or three modes you can open a file rather. So there's W, which is write. There's R, which is read. And there's A, which is append. So if we've got W, then we're writing inside of a file. If there's already content in the file, then W will overwrite it. So you'll completely get rid of whatever's in the file, and then save it as whatever you've asked it to save. Excuse me. R is for read, so it's a read only. You'll open it up to only read it. You won't be able to edit it, you'll just be able to get the content. And that basically stops you from being able to overwrite anything that you don't intend to. Is everyone able to see my screen okay? Yes, okay. I just suddenly checked my YouTube screen and it looked like it had frozen. Okay, we're all good. Alright. So yeah, that's what R is for read, and we're only reading data, we're not writing. Now, append is like write, but rather than overwriting anything, it will just add what we're inputting to the end of the file. So I'll show you all of this in a second. But we're going to use W for now. I'm going to comment these out so that... Not sure why that happened. I'm going to comment all of these out just so that Python doesn't try to run these, because they're not really real commands. Now, if I run this now, you'll notice we didn't have a file exist print out, because the file didn't exist at that point. It was the only, the Python file was the only file in there. So it's not printed anything. But hopefully, if we go into our File Explorer, and I need to add this to the page. Need to add this to the video so that you can see it. Oh, wrong one. Open a new window. Sorry, I should have done this before. Window capture. There we go. So yeah, you'll notice here that we have two files. We've got our Python file. Let me make this a bit bigger. Fit to screen. Hide that one. There we go. So yeah, we can see this now. We have our two files, which are just file, which is our Python program, and we've got this document that we've created called test. Now at the moment, there's nothing inside of test. It's just an empty document because we haven't told Python to write anything yet. So let's go back into our Python. And now we're going to write something into the document. So we're basically going to save something. So we can do f equals write. No, f dot write, sorry. Am I right? Yeah. And we can input any bit of text in here. So for example, test And we're also going to, just to make it look better for our side, we're just going to add a file does not exist. Now, has anyone spotted a potential problem that we might run into here? The problem we have here is that that bit of program that I've just created, that adding files, adding text to the file, isn't going to run. And the reason is because of this line here. It's not going to run because the file exists. So actually all it's going to do is print file exists. In fact, if we run it, you can see that output there. But because we've finished this if statement, it's not going to run this bit. Because the condition was met, this condition was met, it's not going to do this bit. So actually we're not going to write any data in here. So, and we can check that by going into our preview, not that one, files, and we can open up. Let me close this one so I don't get confused. We open up our test document, we'll be able to see that it is completely empty. You will be able to see if I add a source. Yeah, and we can see that there. It's just an empty document, completely empty. So what we're going to do, we'll close this, and we're going to go back into our folder here. I mean, just for the purposes of today, we're just going to delete it manually. And now if we run our project again, and what we're going to find is file does not exist. If we go back into our files and open it up, we find that it has not worked. Why hasn't it worked? Oh, it might be because I forgot to close the file. Now, that's an important line to have. You need to close your file by using the f.close, and that saves it and closes it. We're going to move this up here, just because it makes more sense. F.close, just like that. And if we run it again, I have to delete it again. File does not exist. Let's go back into our file, and we can see already that it's got 1 kilobyte of data. If we open it up, there we go, it says test. So we've successfully written a file. Now that can be used to, write, save files. So maybe you've got some data that a user has inputted, and maybe you want to use that data for later on. So I don't know, maybe you've asked for some input that doesn't need to be saved in a remote database, but just on the computer will do. Then you can save files like that. So I'm trying to think of examples. If, for example, you're making a game and you're downloading, some new skins, some new texture packs, or some new content in that game, you would save that so that the game doesn't have to check with the internet each and every time. Because if you've got bad internet speeds, the gameplay is going to be much low quality. You want to save as much as you can afford to on the person's computer, so that you don't have to, the user doesn't have to rely on poor internet or on unpredictable internet speeds. So that's why we would really want to save information to a computer. Again, there are other ways, so other modes. So for example, if I change this W to an A, and I run it again, then I'm sure you figured it out. But now if we open up our document again, we will in fact find you. Nope, we won't. Oh, again, the reason why this hasn't worked is because we've got our if statement. So that if statement only runs if the file does not exist. So we're going to move this. We're going to move this out, and then so that this bit runs no matter what happens. Oops. Oh, stop doing that way. Get rid of all these. There we go. And if a file does not exist, then we're going to create the file by doing f equals open. What did I say? Get CWD. CWD. Again, we're copying this bit. And we're going to set it to W so that it's writing. That's the only way you can create files, by opening it in W format, and then if the file doesn't exist, it will create it. And if the file does exist, then it will just overwrite any data that's in there. Right, let's run that now. Sorry, you didn't see that. Keep having to remind myself to switch back and forth between screens. So yeah, I'll show you that again. We've now moved this bit out of the else statement and just sort of in the main bit of the program. Again, just so that no matter what the outcome of this bit is, this will always run. And again, if a file does not exist, as defined here, then it will create a file by opening the file in W format. If you had this as A, it wouldn't work. If you had it as R, it wouldn't work. It has to be W. And if a file does exist, essentially, we're going to run this anyway. So we're opening a file in append mode. And now if we run it, and we open up our new document, we can see I ran it twice, so we've got 2 extra tests. And it's literally just appended like that. So that's what the append function does. If we were to make it W, then it will... Oh, I forgot to switch back. Sorry. There we go, we've got the 3 tests. And now I've run it again. Hopefully there will only be 1 test, as you can see there. So now this time, because we've used W instead of A, we've overwritten everything else. So that's the Python open using write and append. Now what we're going to do is we're not going to save it as a TXT document anymore. What we're going to do instead is we're going to save as a JSON file. Now JSON is fairly complex. You sort of need a little bit of understanding in JavaScript in order to fully understand how it works. But yeah, what we can do is we're just going to rename this to JSON. And it's an easier way to read data, essentially, both for computers and for humans. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's a good method to use. If a file does not exist, then we're going to... JSON has a particular format that you should use. I did that wrong. f.write equals that. Now make sure it's the curly braces, because that's what JSON needs. We're going to get rid of this. Wait, are we? We're going to move it. No, we're going to get rid of this. We don't need this bit anymore. if file exists, let's completely get rid of that. And actually, because we've set this as a variable, we don't need this bit. We can just have cwd, cwd. Oh, get rid of that space. I expected it then. Oh, we got rid of the if statement. Right. Okay. Let's see if that has changed it. Oh, sorry. I do keep forgetting to change back and forward. So that's our new program. We've gotten rid of the if statement just because we don't need it. Let me see if I can set up an automatic switcher quickly. Int on shell, switch back to Python. When it's on Python file handling, switch to files. And also notepad. Right, hopefully that works. There we go. So if I close this quickly and open it back up, we now have a JSON. Oh, I didn't create that. We've created a new file now. Now this for you might open up in Notepad, or maybe it opens up in something else. I'm gonna make sure it opens up in Notepad, just so I can make sure is everyone able to open it in is everyone able to see the content, basically. That's not what I should be able to do. That'd be why. Are you all able to see it? Sorry, I know I've gone quiet. I'm trying to get this to work. So I'm not having to constantly switch between the two documents, or the two screens rather. Okay, that's not working. We'll manage as best as we can. But yeah, this is our new Python file. We've got our current working directory still, that's all file. Which we're saving now as test.json. We'll open it up in write mode, and we're going to input this in to the content, and we're going to save it. So hopefully if I run it, and I open up my text.json file, open it up in Notepad, you will see I've got our curly braces. Now, in JSON, we put our curly braces. That's basically where all our data goes. So we can use object keys and stuff, which I can't explain too much in detail right now. But yeah, basically, you can start to save data. So I'm going to copy and paste a little bit of data just quickly. Yeah. So in my Python file, one. We can get a load of data basically. So, for example, oh, I do not know why my computer refuses to copy and paste today. Nope, doesn't want to copy. Okay. Apparently the copy key is broken. I'll type this out manually. We're going to get the data that's currently in our JSON file. Now, our JSON file, like I say, is what saves all of our data. Just for ease of access, I'm not having to switch between two windows. Oh, that's the wrong one. I want the camera. We're going to open up our JSON file. By doing with open test dot JSON as f. So as sent, make sure they're matching. It doesn't matter if they are double, like speech marks or quotation marks, or like this apostrophe, or if it's that, as long as they're the same as f. So we're saving all of the data in that file. We're going to create a variable called data. JSON dot load. Now, JSON is another module, so we're going to go back to the top of here. As long as it's above where we first asked for a JSON function, then it's fine. You could put it here, you could put it there if you so wanted. We can import the module JSON, load f. Now, we've now got a variable with all of our data that will be in our JSON file eventually. And we can edit this data. For example, if I want data CPU count, I'll explain this in a second. There's one more module I forgot, which is sys. Import sys, and that will get any some system data. Don't worry, I'm not going to get anything too harmful. In fact, I'm not even going to see your file, so don't worry about that. We're just going to get how many CPUs your computer has, because that's something that we're able to see using the functions that we have. I could do os dot CPU count. And this might be helpful if you're doing advanced stuff with Python. Sort of if you're doing, I can't remember what it's called. Shared computing, I think it's called. There's a program called Boink, and what it does is it allows thousands of average computers like mine, or maybe yours, and sort of converts or merges the processing power to make it essentially into a supercomputer that can be used to, and I know it was helped actually to, I believe it was helped to create one of the COVID vaccines, just by testing different proteins using artificial intelligence and sort of things like that. Python is very well much used for artificial intelligence and sort of making really clever algorithms, and artificial intelligence need to save that data, or the data that is being inputted into it, that's getting inputted into it rather. So artificial intelligence, again, a complicated topic that I'm not qualified to talk about too much, but it's just learning by trial and error. Like I've said from day one, computers are stupid. They're really stupid. You have to tell it everything to do. And so computers learn by trial and error, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. if something doesn't work, it will try something else. And artificial intelligence systems can be written so that it will try a certain thing, and if that doesn't work, it will try something thing, and just basically get the best result of the two. Um, but yeah, anyway, I lost my point then. But yeah, you can get the CPU count so that you're able to see how much sort of processing power, get a bit of an idea of how much power your computer is capable of. So that if you are, you know, adding your computer into the supercomputer, that is Boink, then, you know, you can do that. Um, so we can save our CPU count, for example. And we're going to save this file again with open, make sure it's given the same file name, test.json w. Again, that's to make sure it's writable. We're going to overwrite any data that exists already in that file as f. We're going to use the JSON function dump. Dump data, so we're dumping the data variable, which is an array. I'll show you that in just a second. Comma F. So this is the file that we're overwriting, and then comma, and then equals 4. That just makes it look nice and slightly easier to read. Right. Let's see if that works for us. I'm gonna save it. And hopefully what we will find is if we open this up using Notepad. Yeah, so this is JSON. This is what it looks like. You can see our brackets are still here, and we've got our data saved. So my particular computer has 12 cores, not 12 CPUs, 12 cores. That should really say. And so, that gives you an idea of how powerful a computer is. So if you're using Python for anything advanced, and you really need those advanced computers, you can check to see whether your program will be able to run on it. And you can save it on here for future reference. So that's a little bit on the OS module. Now, OS can do a lot of different things. So, for example, you can check the CPU count, or CPU core count rather. You can share, you can check all sorts of things using this module. So I think that the OS module can be really helpful sometimes. And yeah, combining it with the file editing is just brilliant. There's a bunch of other commands that we can go over that are inside of the OS module. Stuff like list and directory. So, actually, I'll tell you what, I'm going to write a separate program of everything I can, write data on. Close this. Let's open up a new file. Make sure you save the other one. Right. So this time we're gonna save this in the same folder as the one before. There shouldn't be any harm in doing so, or not doing so. In fact, either way, it should be fine. And this one is just going to tell. We're going to call it test OS. This one's just going to tell us all about our computer, various things about it that may prove helpful. So, for example, we can print what platform it is. So, print platform. Oh, I forgot to add all of my modules. So, we're going to use the same. We're going to use 2 of the 3 modules. um, one of them being OS and the other being sys. So now we've got these modules. Again, using our other file that we just had, which I stupidly closed for some reason. Open with IDE. Nope. Just gonna copy and paste this quickly, just so that I've got a bit of a work point, a starting point. That's what I'm looking for. There we go. So we're gonna get rid of this quickly. So we can get lots of different information. So, for example, we can figure out what platform we're using. So, data, again, same sort of thing. Platform. Is equal to, this one is using a sys module. Platform. And actually, if we wanted, we could probably print all of these. Which I believe you can do by just putting print data. Which is why I put a space there. Nope, that didn't work. Oh, we forgot the JSON module. Import JSON. And then you can see our array here, or more specifically an object, but we can call it an array or a list for the purposes of this. So we've got our CPU count, and we've also got our platform. So for example, I'm running Windows. If you have a Mac, it will give you something different, you know. What other things can I import? What other things can I get, rather? So maybe I want and the version of Python, for example. Again, I can go into use the sys module data Py version sys.version. And there you go, that tells you exactly what version this is. So for me, this is Python 3.10.7. When we're naming files or tagging files, really, with version numbers, we have the first number is the major version, the major release. So if lots of changes have been made to an app, that change the way it works, and that would generally be a new major version, a minor version. So how many little changes have been made since the last big major version, and then you've got the fixes. So there's often bugs somewhere in the program. If any have been found, they can issue patch updates in order to get rid of a bug, essentially. And this whole thing is called semantic versioning. So that's basically just that's what that's called. It's finding the version of a bit of code and being able to say what version you're running. So if you get bugs, I'm sure you've used an app at some point where you've had lots of bugs. You can use that to say, hey, I'm having a problem with version 3.10.7. This is my problem. And then they can fix it for the next version, whichever one they choose. What else can you use using the sys? Using the sys module. yeah, you can get terminal sizes. So uh, maybe this doesn't apply to many people here, but if you download something, sometimes like across the terminal bar or the command prompt, you'll get a progress bar that drops along. And you might have wondered at some point, how does it know how wide the window is? So it knows how far to go for 100%. And actually, it's just by pretty much using one line of code, you can um, print the size of a terminal. So if I run this at the moment, then it will get. Oh, not sure what happened there. Get terminal size. OS. I got it to work earlier. 917 is where the error is. Print get terminal size. What have I done? Hmm. I'm going to try and run in using a different IDE and see if that makes a difference. Because this should be working. Open. SOS. It's not working for me at the moment. I'm not sure why. Okay. It worked for me the other day. So why it's not working at the moment, I don't know. Um, how crazy is this? But yeah, you can get the terminal size, so you can get how big the terminal window is, and sort of use math in order to figure out how wide the bar should be. I literally tested it this morning and it worked fine. Um, yeah, so that's the OS and sys modules. There are lots of other modules, other functions that you can use. I'm going to send a website in the classroom channel. Um, so that is the OS module. And we also have the sys module. And yeah. I have a page there. And so you can look at both of those sites and look into the documentation, see what they're able to do, and their abilities, and yeah, maybe you can use that in some of your projects. I'm going to take a very quick break while I set up the next thing that we're going to do. Bear with me 1 minute. And before I do that, does anyone have any questions? No? Okay, in that case, I will take a quick break. and I'll be back in just a second. Just out of interest, how many people were able to use the turtle last week? Understood what you were doing? Because I feel like that was a bit rushed last week. Feel free to unmute your mics. We'll go over turtle again. Let me open a new file. And we learnt last week not to name your Python file turtle because that will break it. We'll call it draw. And that should work fine. Right then. So again, when we're looking at using turtle, which is how we draw art on the screen, we're going to import the module by doing import turtle. We're going to save the actual turtle or the pen, as it were, as a variable so that we can refer to it later. So we'll call it pen because that's basically what it is. Turtle.turtle. And then we can tell the pen to move in different directions. So pen dot left 90. We can have pen dot forward, I believe. Yep. Pen dot forward. And we're going to have like the number of, I think it's the number of pixels that it's moving. And again, you can see that drawing. You will be able to see that drawing in a second now. You can see that drawing there. Hello there.
I wasn't on last week. I'm not sure what turtle is.
Okay. Yeah, so turtle is another module that we can use essentially to draw art. So it's essentially a bit of a yeah, you can draw geometric shapes. So if we open this up, can you see that clearly on the screen? Can you see the box in the middle? We've got what looks like an arrow. Perhaps I need to make it a bit bigger. So I can change that by doing pen. I can't remember what I use now. Was it width? I believe so. Width dot 5. Yeah. So we can make our ink bigger. So our turtle essentially is just our pen, which we can use to draw items on the screen. You can make algorithms that draw really intricate shapes. I, as I was saying earlier, I don't have any artistic ability, so I'm generally not very good at it. But just by doing some trial and error, you can create really crazy shapes. So, and by using loops as well. So, for I in range. Remember, this is how we make for loops, so we can repeat it a set number of times. We can say pen dot forward 5 and pen dot right 3. We're going to keep the pen width as 5 to make it easier for you to see. So we'll try that. So you can see that's made a bit of an arc just by repeating 10 times. So I'm going to import time just to help you see that a little bit better. Import time dot sleep. Now this is what I use just to allow you to see the see each step, as it were, just so that it's not doing it immediately and you can see the progress. So we can see how it's turning very slightly after every 10 pixels. Did I make it 10? Every 5 pixels, sorry. We can see our pen gradually moving over to the side. And it's only gradually rotating. Just by doing a loop. So we'll do that 10 times because that's the number that I've specified in our for loop. Can you see that? Yes, you can. And we can change this so we can make it 50, for example. And now we will get a much bigger arc or circle. Well, it won't be a circle yet, I'd imagine. So yeah, just by using loops, you can begin to create shapes. So I might do after I don't know, 25, and then I want it to move. Do that again, but in between. And I don't have a plan for this. I'm just doing it by the skin of my teeth just to see what happens. I'm in a computer, as it were. I'm using not artificial intelligence, but just trial and error. Maybe I should have reduced the time that we're waiting between each step. But we can see it turn suddenly a bit more. I'm thinking of making a sort of leaf if I can. That's the sort of idea I'm trying to get. I guess it'd be close to 100. We're going to change time.sleep. We're actually going to set this as a variable so that we can change it all at once. So we can set a variable to step time. So the time between each step, that's what we're going to call it. I'll put 0.1. And that way, as we build in steps, if we want the step time to be the same for each step, then we can change it all at once without having to edit each and every one. So we can see it moves much faster now. And we very nearly got our leaf shape that I was trying to go for. So maybe a little bit more. And then pen and right, we're going to copy it again. This time, 100, let's say 90. Won't be that much, will Yeah, let's see what happens if we try it. That's nearly perfect. That bit wasn't so perfect. I want to have a line going straight through the middle. So we're going to stop this right bit. And we're going to change this. Did we need it more or less? Slightly more. We're going to make this 108. Make this 22. No, 21. And decrease the step time slightly more to that. Not quite. Nearly made it. So yeah, it's give me there. And we're going to change you to 150. Oh, very nearly perfect. That was pretty good. But yeah, you can see how you can start making art with it, and you can start getting really intricate just by using loops. So once I've finished one loop, I might create another loop to sort of go into a random place and do another loop. I can also do pen.color, I believe. I'm gonna double check that. And this is American spelling. Python turtle. I should know off the top of my head, but I don't. It's actually pen color. I was nearly right. And okay, so with this, you sort of need to know a little bit of CSS, but maybe if you use a color picker before, for example, you get asked for red, green, and blue. How much of each you want in a color? So if you want full blue, then you'd put 0 red, 0 green, and 255 blue. So it's a similar principle here. We want it to be green, so we're going to make the middle number, which is green, the biggest number. We can have 2. We can have, it can't be over 255. We'll make it 2, 3, 1, because why not? And a little bit blue. Oops, I did something wrong. Bad color sequence. Oh, so it should be 2 brackets. Like that. Nope, still no. Oh, it might just be turtle like that. Nope, okay. I don't know what I did wrong. Trying to read as quick as I can. Alright, we'll do it a simpler way. We'll just make this green. And hopefully that will be recognized. Nope. Oh. This should be a string. Oh, green. Please work now. No. Why not? All you did was you created a second turtle. I have no idea why. Pen. Come on, you can work. There we go. Because we created a second turtle by accident. But yeah, you can see we're getting along with our lead. I'm determined to get this just right. I probably shouldn't spend so much time. Oh, look at that. We'll call that Wally. We'll call that done. So what we can then do is create another for loop, but we're going to put all of our other for loops in the same. We're going to give it a different variable name. Put all of our loops so far into the same range. So we'll do 3 to start with, colon. You can select this and then press the tab button to indent it all. We're also going to import a module called random. Import random. I'm trying to remember how to do that. Random. Yeah, I did. I was right. I need to have more confidence in myself sometimes. We're going to do. Make sure that this is tabbed so that it's in this bit of the range, and we're going to do x equals random dot random. Actually no, it's randint. Randint for random integer. So we can have anywhere between, we'll say minus 10 and 50, for example. And we'll have the same thing, except this will be y. Now these will refer to coordinates. And we're going to get our pen to move this number of coordinates, so we can stop drawing by using pen up, I think. We'll try it. We'll see if I remember right. Pen up. And then we're going to move that number, so pen dot forward. We're just going to choose x to be forward. And then pen dot left. We're going to create another variable called angle, which will be a random integer again between 0 and 360. So that's how many degrees we can rotate. Angle. And then we're going to do pen dot forward y. So that's our second number. Let's see if that works. There we go. Oh, there was one thing I forgot to do. I forgot to tell it to put the pen back down, so that we're drawing again. So the pen up stops the drawing, but moves the pen, just not on the page. And then the pen down does the opposite. We might also change the colour. Is that possible for me to do? In colour. I'm not sure why it didn't work. I'm gonna try it again. Copy this and paste it. Two, 255, 8. And maybe you'll be able to see. No. Am I missing a module maybe? Oh, might be just because we've got spaces. It might be as simple as that. Let's see. Nope, it isn't. Alright, this is gonna be my last step. If not, there won't be much I can do about it. Nope, okay, fine. In that case, we will comment that out. But yeah, you can imagine that it works. We can change this to a much higher number. Just that it's a bit more randomized. We've almost gone off a page. Maybe I shouldn't make the numbers quite so big, because now we can no longer see them. There we go, just about see it. There we go. Multiple fairly nice looking leaves. And the fun about this project is, because we're using random numbers, they will be in various different places. So this one's very near. This one has disappeared entirely. There we go. And I mean, we could literally make these more detailed. We could, create the veins and the leaves in a different color. And it's easier than having to draw each one manually. You could include it in the algorithm to have those little imperfections that real leaves have. Yeah. So programming can definitely save you time if you do it well. You can create flowers. Would they be easier? Possibly. Yes, you have to do a bit of maths with this, but sometimes you don't even have to do maths. You can just do trial and error the whole way through. Any questions for me, either in terms of art or in terms of maybe the actual, the file handling? Please feel, please feel free to unmute. In that case, I think we might finish slightly early. I think for next week we've got quite a big session to do. And I'm not entirely sure how well it's going to go. We'll see what we can do, but we'll be actually making an API, which is one of the things that I think Python is the most handy for. You can use it to. We'll actually be making a web app, so we'll connect to third-party data called OpenWeather, and get data from them, get weather forecasts, and we'll be able to display it so you can get the latitude and longitude or maybe nearby where you live or whatever, import that, and I mean, it doesn't even have to be near where you live. You could do the center of Paris, for example, and get the weather data from that. But like how the temperature, you can say what units you want it in, and how much rainfall there's going to be, and all sorts of things that we can explore together. So that'll be next week. I think. Sorry, excuse me. I'm coming down with a bit of a cold, so what I want you to do for next week is just familiarize yourself with lists and arrays, which I'm going to send you a link to. Actually, I'm going to do that in class assignment. Make a thread. Week 4. So revise lists and learn about objects. In terms of storing data, so sort of variable types. And so there's some link, that might help you with that. I'm going to see if I can find another one. Python. Just very quickly. I can't find it now. There. They're called tuples in Python. That's why I couldn't remember it. Tuples. So I'll send you a couple of links. Get yourself familiar with them. Feel free to practice your Python. Learn about lists, tuples, and maybe dictionaries. And if you learn more than we're going to use next time, then that's good. If not, then that's fine. And you sort of need to learn that in order to, be able to interpret and use the data that we're getting from the API. And I will ping you all in it. Is everyone able to see that channel where you've just got a new notification? If you're looking just in the Discord, actually, let me show you Discord. That one. So this is what your Discord window should look like. You've got your classroom channel here. And then you can go, so if you've got your classroom here, just above is week 4, or class assignments is what you'll see. Is everyone able to see that channel? If not, let me know now. And so if you click on week 4 at the bottom here, there's 2 messages currently. Click the 2 messages and you'll get this side panel here. Over here. You get this side panel over to this side, which will give you, your the links that I've posted. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in this message box down here. Although if you send it anywhere in the server, I should be able to see. But yeah, any further questions? I guess this is your last chance to ask before we finish up for today. Alright then. Nacho, anything to add from your end?
No, just just keep in mind next week is the last week, right? Is that right? No, this is week. Yeah,
this is
so
week
then
5.
Yeah, so we may be then sort of regrouping a bit to kind of figure out what is going to be the next coming boot camp and the dates and all that.
Yeah. So
and we'll be announcing on Meetup.
yeah, we have a Meetup account. If you use Meetup, you can find us a skill camp, and we post a number of classes. Sorry, there classes and events. And yeah, do log on to Discord in the next few weeks for dates about when we start this this course again for our next cohort. I don't have a specific date or time for it yet, but it will start within the next month or so. And like I say, we're also starting up other courses like our web bootcamp, which will be the next one. I think my plan is sort of starting web bootcamp in about 3 weeks, give or take, and then I'll restart the coding bootcamp a couple of weeks after that, and we'll have both courses running at the same time. Yeah, we'll put out more information about that in the coming weeks. So yeah, stay on Discord to be updated about that. Alright, that's all from me. Don't forget that we have a number of events on our sister servers. Yeah, let me get this page up. PowerPoint there. That's the wrong slide. Yeah, so we've got a number of events going on. I didn't realize Film Camp had so many courses starting up. I'm definitely going to join some of them. And we've got our table read starting up on Script Camp in about half an hour. Yeah. If you want the link, we can send that to you now. I will send. Oh, Nastro's already sent it in the Classroom channel. So yeah, do join them, and yeah, we'll see you next week. Have a wonderful week, everyone.